Hello everyone, this is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. And in this episode, this is part 5 of this video series that I'm doing. I want to talk to you about the complete Revelation 12 sign from November 16th, 2016 to September 23rd, 2017. And what I want to share with you tonight is that the Revelation 12 sign is not about one date, September 23rd, 2017. That is a very important date. It will mean many things, but what we have to understand is the full time frame of this sign from start to finish. And there have been significant events that happened exactly on November 16th, and as this sign is progressing, right, this birth event, this conception, right, what we're looking at is this sign is a conception event that had a beginning. Now I find it interesting that most people that talk about the Revelation 12 sign don't talk about the beginning date at all. Everyone is fixed on September 23rd, 2017. But what we have to understand is that there's a conception date, right? I mean, this is the birth. That's the birth, right? And what we have then is a conception event. So we've got some events. Now I was hoping to possibly finish out the series with this episode, but I'm not going to be able to finish everything that I wanted to share, because basically what I want to do is I want to do one episode based on everything that I can do within one chalkboard here, and I don't have enough space on this chalkboard to get me through all the other information that I want to share with you guys. So what I want to do right now is I want to walk you through some key events that are leading us up right now to Pentecost, and I want to talk to you about some scenarios that we're looking at in the coming days, okay? So we have the Revelation 12 sign that began on November 16th, 2016, September 23rd, 2017. This is the full amount of the sign. It's a sign of a birthing event. So we have a conception and we have the birth, okay? Now, on day 1335, which was from March 22nd, 2013, the abomination of desolation, adding 1,335 days, just as the book of Daniel says in Daniel 12:12. It says, from the date of the abomination, there will be 1,290 days. Blessed is he who comes to the 1,335 days. So the understanding that I have brings us to November 16th, 2016. This is confirmed by two events: Jupiter entering Virgo, and Zeus is Berlin at the Pergamus altar of Satan, the throne of Zeus. And so Jupiter and Zeus, this is the same day, Obama in Berlin, as Jupiter's entering Virgo. Then we had two events, very important events. On November 29th and 30th was the vote at the General Assembly of the United Nations. And on December 23rd, the final vote at the Security Council came through, and Jerusalem was divided. Okay, Jerusalem was divided. The vote came out. On one of the votes, it was 153 nations against, I think, 7 nations, right? 153, and that is the number of fish caught in the net. The miraculous catch of fish, 153 fish. So these are the 153 nations. Every nation that is against Israel is going to be caught in the net They're going to be caught in the snare. They're going to be taken up. And they're going to be taken captive during the Great Tribulation. And so this is the net of the coming snare, right? So this happened within this. This is a birthing event. These are the birth pangs that are increasing. Okay, this is part of the fact that right now we are on the verge of World War III. Right now we've had the tensions increase in Syria, with Russia, with Japan, with North Korea, with China, with, you know, I mean, the tensions are increasing. The birth pangs are growing. We are getting to the point, right? This is a process that is taking us to a birthing event that is going to be happening. Okay, now everybody is locked into September 23rd as the date. Well, I am not, and I think that things may happen before then, that we need to keep watch. And so what I'm doing is I'm paying attention to the signs that we are seeing in this process and seeing where we are being led to. You know, what are the things that God is showing to give us the understanding, right, of the when things will happen. Okay, because that's the question everybody wants to know. When will the rapture occur? I mean, people have been studying this since 1988 at least, right? 88 reasons the rapture will happen in 1988. And that if there's one thing that opened the people's eyes in 1988 is that one generation from the rebirth of Israel, 1948 to 1988, that was one of the main reasons in that original study, was the rebirth of Israel was the reason, okay? And this is part of the understanding that we have now, is that everything is related to the rebirth of Israel and the final generation of the fig tree, okay? But it wasn't 40, it's 70. So we're not looking at 1988, we're looking at 2017 to 2018, and right now we are in this final Jubilee year, and we are in the process of the birth of Jupiter in the Revelation 12 sign. So Israel has been divided. This is connected to the Antichrist, Barack Obama, because as President of the United States had the ability to veto these votes at the United Nations and did not veto. He allowed the votes to go through against Israel, dividing Jerusalem. Okay. Then we have the on March 29th we had Nisan 1, and now we are in the true Jubilee year that begins in the spring of every year. Okay. There is no biblical precedent for two calendars to determine Jubilee years, or to determine any type of significant. There are no two calendars. Okay, there are not two calendars in the Bible that are shown. Okay, what we have is that from Exodus chapter 12 verse 1, it says that this will be the first of months. This will be the first month for you, which is the month of the Passover. It's Nisan, it's Abib, right? It's the beginning of the year in the spring, and this is the way that the whole calendar is set up. We've got the spring feast, we've got the summer feast, which is Pentecost, and we've got the fall feast, and the fall feasts are in the 7th month. The first month is Nisan. It's always Nisan, and this is the understanding that we need to figure out, right, when the Jubilee year is, because people have been talking about this Jubilee year since 2015, based on the Shemitah, right? Then it was the beginning of the Shemitah. Then it was the end of the Shemitah. But what we end up having is that the Shemitah pattern does not follow exactly, because the Shemitah is every 7 years, while the Jubilee is every 50th year, which they're off. They don't coincide. The Jubilee is the 50th year, whereas the Shemitah would be then every 7 years. It would be the 49th year, but then that would be off based on how many years has this process been happening of the Shemitah year. And so there was a great teaching and understanding about the Shemitah, but the Shemitah did not line up with Jubilee, and so that is part of the confusion. What we need to understand is that on March 29th, Nisan 1 is the beginning of the true Jubilee, 5777. Now we are in this final Jubilee year that has begun. We are already in the Revelation 12 sign, and now the birth pangs are kicking up. As soon as we hit Nisan, okay, watch this, guys. As soon as we hit Nisan, as soon as this new year kicked in, as soon as the Jubilee began, it's the wars. Okay, remember in Daniel chapter 9:25, it says that until the end, wars are determined, right? Wars are determined. Daniel 9:25. And the end of that will be with wars. Okay, so we're brought to the end of the 69 years, and it talks about the wars that are going to be coming. And so right now, as soon as we hit the new Jubilee year, then everything started kicking in. It's the wars. We're leading up to the time of Jacob's trouble. We're leading up to the time of the Great Tribulation. Now that we're in the Jubilee year, which is 50, what I'm seeing is that we are being led to Pentecost, which is also 50. And Pentecost is the day that marked the change of dispensation from the law being given, and it was the only day, right? Pentecost was the only day in the Bible that God actually sounded his own trumpet. Because the trumpet of God, the Bible says, that with a shout, with the trumpet of God. This is exactly what we see in Exodus chapter 19, when Moses came down from the mountain. There was a shout. It was the voice of God in a trumpet blast that was sounding louder and louder. God sounded the trumpet on the day of Pentecost. And then we had the change of dispensation when the Holy Spirit came. And the law was written then on the hearts. Okay? And so when the rapture happens, right, those who have the law written on their hearts are going to be taken. And those that have the law written on their brains will be left. Because it's not about having the law in our brains. It's about having it in our heart. So what we are looking at now is we are in this final Jubilee year. Okay? Then we have in Nisan, as the wars began, it was actually, I don't know, I think the 6th of Nisan, April 6th, or maybe it was the 8th of Nisan that Donald Trump bombed Syria. A few days later, then, the mother of all bombs, Moab, Moab, the mother of all bombs, was dropped on Afghanistan. And there's this increase in tension worldwide now, leading us up to coming World War III and eventually, right, Armageddon. And the biblical wars are going to be coming out of this, and it's all in that biblical location of the great Euphrates River, which is Syria. Okay, so this is a part of the lead up to Armageddon, is the sixth trumpet at the great Euphrates River, and the conflict in Syria and the destruction of Damascus, and how this is all tied into the sixth trumpet, the seventh trumpet, and then the bowls of wrath, which is the Great Tribulation. Okay, so now that we're in the new Jubilee year and we are wondering when everything will happen, and when will this birth happen, and when will the Great Tribulation begin, and when can we get out of here? When will the rapture happen? Right? We have an event that happened on Passover night, April 12th, Nisan 14, Passover night. The son of perdition made an announcement on Passover night. Okay, and the importance of this announcement coming out on Passover night is the connection between Judas Iscariot, the son of perdition, and the only other use of the term in the Bible. That term is only used twice. You can search it. Son of perdition. Search it. That's used twice. Once is referred to Judas Iscariot. The other is referred to the Antichrist. Okay, so Judas Iscariot on the night of Passover took the bread from Jesus, and Jesus said, whatever you're going to do, do quickly. And Satan entered Judas Iscariot. Okay, this was the night of the possession of the process of the possession of Satan, of the son of perdition, was Passover. So on Passover night, this announcement came out, and I will leave the links with all the information that I have shared about Barack Obama going back to Berlin on May 25th. But the important part of this that I'm sharing right now is that the announcement came out on Passover night. So on Passover night, Barack Obama announces that he will be in Berlin on May 25th. On Ascension Day. So we are connecting here to the biblical timelines. We are now in Nisan. Well, we're already in the second month now, but we are already in the Jubilee year, and now we have everything picking up, and the revelations are coming, and we're being led to what is going to be the escape event that is coming in this Jubilee year. This is the year of our deliverance. This is the Jubilee year. And we know that our deliverance is going to be coming in this year. And so, on Passover night, the announcement came out. May 25th, on Ascension Day, Barack Obama is going to be in Berlin. Okay. This leads us then to a 10-day window from May 25th to June 4th. That is the 10 days between Ascension Day and Pentecost. That may be, right? To me, it seems like it can be and probably will be, but we are waiting and wondering, okay? But this is my warning. This is the purpose of God giving me this understanding so that I can share this, and this can be the warning that we may have an event on May 25th that we can see, which will be a visible confirmation of the fact that we are actually being led to Pentecost as the start of the Great Tribulation. And this would be then, if something happens on May 25th, as Barack Obama goes back to Berlin, to the throne of Satan, if something happens there, okay, and I think something will happen there, and I'm sharing this, and obviously we think that things may happen, and maybe nothing happens, and I don't know where we would go beyond that. We would wait and see what is next. But for right now, this is what I'm seeing, and I have to give this warning because I could say, I don't know if anything's going to happen, so I'm not going to say anything. But what if something happens on May 25th? What if Barack Obama going to Berlin is the exact sign that we need, that he has sat on the throne of Satan to become the God of this world in flesh. He is going to be incarnated by Satan himself. He sat on the throne, and there's proof of the rise of the Antichrist, the ascension of the Antichrist on Ascension Day, and the fire of Pentecost will be the fire of wrath on the same day, 10 days later. And so I have to give this warning. This is part of what the Lord has given to me, to be able to give this warning. So May 25th might be the day where the Antichrist takes his throne, and that will lead us then to Pentecost, which could be the rapture and the start of the Great Tribulation. Okay? The rapture and the start of the Great Tribulation may be on Pentecost. We are in the Jubilee year. Jubilee is 50. Pentecost is 50. 50 years from the Six-Day War. On the exact day, June 5th was the Six-Day War. We are, June 4th is the 70th Pentecost from the rebirth of Israel, and the 70 weeks are determined. 70 Shavuos, 70 Pentecosts are determined. Okay, we're at number 70. We're at the 50th anniversary of the Six-Day War. It's the Jubilee year, 50. It's Pentecost, which is 50. Okay, these are all these different confirmations that are coming in, and this may be that the big one that we've been wondering about, right? Okay, well, what I want to talk to you then in my next episode is if the Great Tribulation starts on Pentecost, what will happen the rest of this year? How long will the Great Tribulation last? Jesus said that harvest is the end of the age. Harvest is the end of the age. Now I want to point out to you that Pentecost is the final harvest festival before September 23rd. There is not another harvest festival before September 23rd, and the Feast of Trumpets is not a harvest festival. So if the harvest is the end of the age, and we don't go in Pentecost, then the next harvest festival is Tabernacles, and now we're past this date, and that doesn't make sense. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So right now, Pentecost is looking like the appointed time that we have been waiting for. So in my next episode, I will be talking to you about how long the Great Tribulation, from my perspective, will last. The meaning of Pentecost, leading us to the end of the Revelation 12 sign, how that is tied to Armageddon and the second coming, and then the end of this next Jubilee year, that will be next spring, and how that will be the beginning of the millennium. So I'll be sharing that in my next episode. Thank you. God bless.